Do I have to get all this done in time?
Yes, ma'am. By 12 o'clock.
By myself?
Yes, what the hell you think you apply for?
What happens if I don't?
You fired. What you think you apply for the job for? You crying for? Okay, so sorry guys for the thing. So as you can see, she's crying. She had a job, and then she applied for the job. The job said is a customer service, probably restaurant, and she probably a dishwasher or probably a porter or whatever it is, probably back in the house. And now so they try to wash dishes again. Woman knows exactly what they're doing. The reason why she's crying is not because she doesn't want to do the job. It's not because she doesn't want the paycheck. It's because there is a man in there and the man tell her to do it. That's the reason why. Okay. If she the apply for the job, she knows it's a part of the job. She know at any kind of moment she gonna do it. But the thing about it is, sometimes the woman will rely on the same on a supervisor management give them usually the cashier job, the receptionist job, the people the server job, but put the men on the back burner to do the back of the house, sweep and mop and wash the dishes. Okay? So now the best way for them to convince the job that they cannot do the dishes or they cannot sweep and mop, they have to be a mentality that they are weak. First of all, they cannot carry the tray pan, the shipping. They are weak. They cannot clean all the dishes. They are not mentally stable for do all that. Okay. So when they're doing the workforce, they are weak doing those jobs that they apply for. But when they at home, they are strong and independent because they did that job. Okay. Women are lazy at everything. Okay. I'm telling you. One of the best thing that women love to do is go to the salon and for hair. Why they do that? Because first of all, they sit down and do nothing. Second of all, they pay someone else to do what they can do for themselves. Okay? That's why it's one of the biggest company that's profit for women because they find out that a way to put women sit down and doing nothing and pay out for somebody else to do what she can do for less money or free. Okay, and then this is why she becomes so weak. She pretend every society that she weak. She cannot open the door by herself. She cannot carry the garbage because at the end of the day, they program men to cater to them. If they are strong, men gonna leave them. If they portray themselves as a weak woman, men gonna come to rescue them. It's been done from centuries because back in the day, this is what happened. They know the woman was weak. They know the woman cannot do all this stuff, kind of job, all the trafficking, all the, for example, up and down, bring the kids to school and work harder, up and down, back and forth. They men understand that men cannot do that. But after the woman divorced the man, she did that. The same thing that they pressure the men that they cannot do. When the relation break up and when she get divorced, she's able to do all that on her own. So this century is like, okay, which one is it? Is woman is very weak, they cannot do the things that they pretend they cannot do, or the woman they trying to have a use sex as a leverage to get what they want and sit down and be lazy in the relationship, and next thing you know, the men work harder, bring the income, and on top of that, the man has to come home and then do the heavy duty. So now, after so many data and observation, men find out that the men are not really weak. But again, in order to capture your love, they got to sell themselves as a weak product. They got to show themselves that they are innocent. Because at the end of the day, women want to portray that they are innocent. Okay? Once a man see a woman is innocent, they're willing to die for them. That's why men usually die for women that they go to war to protect us because they know they are innocent. They need to be protected because at the end of the day, they don't want them to expose in a cruel and nasty environment. Okay, that's why they when you're growing up, that's what they teach you. But this generation prove us otherwise. They say that they can fight a man. They say they can take a man down. They say they can be argumentative. They can slap a man. They can be in man's face. They can curse, and then they can beat a man. Now a man see that. Wait a minute. When I start talking to her, she used to be calm. She used to be soft. She used to be gentle. But now I'm in a relationship with her. Every time something doesn't go her way, she go very aggressive and abusive, slap me, and I think she was innocent. Hmm. It was just a camouflage to think that you are the one to rescue her. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. She's trying to sell herself that she's weak. Because if she says she's strong, men gonna leave her alone. That's why strong, independent women never have relationship. Because at the end of the day, they are argumentative, they behave as a man, and men that has respect for themselves, they're not gonna put themselves in a society on a house where they stuck with a woman dress with dress and behave like a man. Another way, they're gonna put it as a man wearing makeup and a dress, and next thing you know, is a battlefield inside the house. That's how women get men. Always portray themselves as an innocent and as a weak. As a man, you should watch it out because at the end of the day, if you see, for example, she scream at a customer, she's not weak. If you see when you playing, she hit you hard. She's not weak. But again, she trying to portray you that she's weak. Okay? When she's weak, they're gonna call it a soft girl error. Is all it is. They want to be pretend to be weak because that's why people love children because children, first of all, they need nurture. Second of all, they don't have that strength. Third of all, they're innocent. Women behave the same way as their children. That's why you see right here, she's crying right here. Because at the end of the day, if she's crying like a little baby, that's meaning she needs nature. She is caring. She is a big baby. And that's what happened. Now, when she's crying as a baby, you have to come as an adult to rescue her because she needs care, she needs protection. Because babies are not that strong, babies are weak. That's why she's crying in the video when they tell them to wash the dishes because she doesn't have that energy to do that because she says I'm weak, I cannot carry those dishes and so on and so forth. I bet you when she get home, she's gonna be the one carrying out 2, 3 baby in the shoulders to go to the EBT appointment to collect the check. I bet her she gonna do that. She gonna collect she gonna have all those babies and then hold together and then carry her everything she has a book bag and the carriage and next thing you know go straight up to the social security to claim those child support money. I bet she gonna have energy for that, but energy for that to do something productive for her life, no, 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 she got to portray herself as a weak because at the end of the day, women want minimum effort and maximum return. That's it is. That's why whenever you see a woman and a work in a fast food restaurant, you barely see them wash dishes or even sometimes sweep a map. I used to work in a fast food restaurant. I barely see women sweep a map. Every time they tell them to sweep or there's a water the leak, they be like, why you calling me? I'm stacking up, such and such. They're gonna be like, oh something like that. I just did my hair. I don't want to break my nail. Every single time. but the man has no excuse, and the supervisor, the management, they are simp, and they tell the man to sweep him out, they tell the man to wash the dishes, and they tell the man so as well. And then them they sit down or stand in the corner, talk with girlfriend, or flirt with the supervisor, or flirt with the management, so they can have their ways. But you're a hardworking man, earning every second that you clock in to get a paycheck, then do the bare minimum and stand up or sit down doing barely nothing, and then ask for a raise, and because they deserve it, because they are female, they're not supposed to work, they're not supposed to be a workforce, they have to be pretty object. That's how they convince the men. That's why regardless her age, regardless her nature, regardless whatever she is, she gonna dress up in a way that she's a feminine, because a feminine energy is pure, is innocent, is weak, is nurture, and so on and so forth in protection. And that's what happened. But now, after so many uncles are being victimized, after so many fathers are being jailed, after so many people being forced accusation, men like men, women are not that way. They're not that innocent, and now women are paying the price. Because once a woman break up with you, or they want to go on their way, they're gonna give you a hard time for you to see the kids. They're gonna be fighting with you, you false allegation, and so on and so forth. So men is like, women are not weak, women are not innocent. It's just a camouflage. They pretend they are so they can have their ways. So once their way is not there, now the will her come out. And that way, if she was at home, I bet you she would throw the dishes on the man's face. She would throw the soap on the man's face. She'll try to slap the man if the man was at home. If that man was his boyfriend or her boyfriend, she will do that. But since it's at a job, she cannot do that. And the thing that she can do to pretend that she's not gonna do that is to cry because she is mentally not stable. She cannot do that job. But you apply the job criteria, say requirements, say you can wash the dishes, customer care. Wash the dishes, sweep them up. I cannot do that because I'm a female. I got to wash all this by myself. Yes, you are. That's your job. That's what the company do. And on top of that, if you don't fight for equal right to work, you wouldn't be in that place. Or even better, if you go home, you have a man, even though you cook, you clean, and next thing you know, the men come home sometime, most of the time, the men understand they're gonna wash the dishes for you. But no, you don't want that. You want to go in the workforce, flashing that you're stronger than independent. Now, when they tell you to wash the dishes, you start crying. And now you're crying for what? Because you're being an adult. Adult do. They take care of themselves. They wash dishes, go to work, take a shower, clean their houses, and that's it. You don't rely on nobody when you're adult. Only children rely on adult. And that's why the cry come out, because now she relies a man to do the dirty job. That's what happened. When a man do the dirty job, they say a man is the title. But the woman, she's not do the dirty job because she's pretty, she's delicate, she's a flower. She not do anything dirty, always look pretty. And a man has to always look dirty and nasty because it's a man duty. That's why whenever you're in a relationship with a woman, they never want to take out the garbage. It's not because the garbage is heavy, it's about the image they want to portray themselves. They don't want to portray themselves that they are strong, they don't want to portray themselves that they are nasty. That's why they send the men to put the garbage and yell at you every time you don't put the garbage out. It's all about you being the messy guy, and next thing you know, and then she kick out the garbage, her image and the society image gonna judge her, because now she's not pure anymore, she's not innocent anymore, she's not weak anymore, because she can carry her own garbage. garbage. But if she's single, she gonna do that every day. But if she's in a relationship, she's not gonna do that because now it's a main job to get nasty, to get dirty, and then her she gonna be pretty, and everyone gonna praise her how pretty she is, how cute she is. But and she do the garbage, she gonna be like, oh, it's nasty. Exactly, because she doesn't want to see people that she's a nasty girl. She doesn't want to pretend people that she can work hard. She won't pretend that she's weak and innocent. That's why they do that. They don't do the dishes. They don't sweep and mop, and then they don't take out the garbage. But they want to survive in your income, though. That's what happens. It's not about the hard work. It's about the image they're sending. They don't want to send the image that they are capable to do the basic little things. They want to show you that they are children. They are innocent, and children are innocent. They are weak, and they need to be protected all the time. But we all know is not true. And now you see she's crying because now the management, which is a man, if it was a female, she would be cursing and flirting and saying no go something. But since it's a man and he's a man, and he tell her to wash the dishes, and she feel slap in the face because she never see a man alive tell her to go wash the dishes. That's why she feel cry because now she feel frustrated because now she feel like how can a man tell me to wash the dishes? Another way, stay where you belong is in the kitchen. You don't belong out there. You stay in the kitchen. That's why she's crying. It's not about dishes. Gotta be safe out there because women they pretend to do a lot of things this generation. You got social media that's unveil that everything that you know when you're young about women, 90% of the time they are lies because at the end of the day, women, even your mother, your sister, your auntie, they're gonna show that they're innocent and weak so they can sell you a dream so you can spend on them and you can protect them and you can spend your life away while the meantime they are enjoying their life. And then if anything bad happen to you, she gonna be replaced and find the next suitor to do the betting for her. Don't rescue those women. At the end of the day, you're gonna be the one that's gonna get the end of the stick.